the United Nations yesterday in which a ceasefire in Gaza went through. Now, there had been a previous vote, which was the Security Council at the UN, of which Britain is a permanent member, the United States, other nations are, which was blocked because America used their veto to block it. So it sort of goes down one tier to the UN General Assembly, which is all 150, 60 countries around the world that will have a vote. And it got through yesterday. Now, for Israel, does this sort of speak to a sort of splintering of the coalition of support away from them and people really getting fed up with this war?
I mean, now that the UN have voted for it, presumably peace is breaking out in Gaza as we speak. This has had a massive impact and everybody's listening to it. I mean, one of the things that I really find very amusing about the UN is that we look at all of these countries in isolation. Places like Libya, like North Korea, like, we name them, and we think that's not a nice regime, that's not a country I want to live in. But when you put them all in a room, somehow they have some sort of morality over Western nations, and we're all supposed to take it seriously. I don't think Israel will pay any attention to this. Israel listens to what the United States says. The United States has been wavering a little bit on this, but ultimately it cannot afford to abandon its best ally in what is an incredibly important region. Israel will also be listening to what the heads of Arab states tells it. Now, in public, the heads of certain Arab states say one thing, and in private, they say another thing, which is, you can do what you want to Hamas because we don't want these people. We don't want the splinter groups in our country sort of getting ideas. We need to remember that the ferocity and the quickness with which the Arab Spring spread, that fear lurks in the minds of so many Arab nations who, objectively sit out there and say, we support the Palestinian cause, we are very opposed to what Israel is doing. In private, they do not care a jot about that. And I think the response that we've seen to the invasion, where the suggestion was Iran was saying, oh, well, we might have to go to war. Hezbollah was saying it's going to happen. Even the Turks were saying, what Israel is doing is a war crime and we'll protect. None of it has materialized. None of them have the stomach for this. Israel has carte blanche to do what it wants. Now, that will mean awful things happening in Gaza, but we do need to remember why this started.
But they are also winning, and of course, Hamas could bring this conflict to an immediate ceasefire by releasing all the hostages, all the Israeli citizens, the hostages. Israel's been really clear about that. We will have a ceasefire when you release all the hostages.
I think that